Welcome to the Raven for Cubase and Nuendo Software Quick Start Guide for Raven MTX and MTi. This video will get you quickly up and running so you can use these world-class, multi-touch consoles with your Cubase and Nuendo sessions. Please be aware that we'll be performing our tutorial on the 27-inch Raven MTi, and some graphics may appear slightly differently on the 46-inch Raven MTX. However, the software functionality is the same for both consoles. Last, for details on attaching the Raven to your computer or audio interface, reference your Raven user manual, located in the Raven product of your Slate account. Let's begin. From your desktop, navigate to the Apple drop-down menu and click System Preferences. Select the Sharing folder and confirm that your computer has been named. If it has not, make sure to name your computer. Then, click Show All. If you're using OS X 10.9 or higher, click Security and Privacy. On the Privacy tab, select the Accessibility option on the sidebar and drag the following applications to the provided area from your Applications folder: Automator, Cubase and/or Nuendo, Raven, and Terminal. Note, Terminal is located in the Utilities folder within the Applications folder. If using OS X 10.7 or 10.8, click Show All and select Accessibility from the main System Preferences window. Then, confirm that the Enable Assistive Devices option is checked. Now confirm vControl Pro is running and launch Cubase or Nuendo. Open the Raven MTX or MTi application associated with your hardware. From the drop-down menu, choose your Cubase or Nuendo version and hit OK. If you've calibrated for the dual Raven setup, simply check the Dual option to the right of the DAW drop-down selections, then hit OK. It's important that you only check the Dual option if you are using two Ravens and have already calibrated for Dual as explained earlier in this video. Please note, if your DAW drop-down options display gray, this means your iLok license is missing. Be sure your iLok is plugged into your computer when using your Raven and that you have registered your Raven iLok authorization code as explained earlier in this video. Note, if you have authorized multiple DAWs, these will also appear accessible. However, Raven for other DAWs will not be covered in this video. Click here for our playlist of Raven Quick Start videos for supported DAWs. Be sure to follow along with this section to properly configure your DAW with Raven. To synchronize with Cubase and/or Nuendo, touch Settings on the Raven toolbar and hit Raven Setup. This will automatically configure your Raven control surface with Cubase and/or Nuendo for you. Note, you must have configured your system preferences as discussed in the previous section for this automatic setup to function correctly. To perform the setup manually, launch Cubase or Nuendo and open a new session. First, you'll need to import and select our custom Raven key commands for Cubase and Nuendo. After launching Cubase or Nuendo, open the Key Commands Preferences from the File menu. Click the Key Command drop-down menu and then select from the list Raven Key Commands. Once selected, click OK. Note, when reopening the Key Commands window, it will remove the visual confirmation of the Raven Key Commands text from the box. However, once selected, they will remain set in the application until otherwise changed. Now that the custom key commands are assigned, we'll navigate to the Menu tab and select Device Setup. Now we'll click the plus symbol button on the Device Setup window and select vControl Pro from the list and press Apply. If any notifications pop up while configuring this, simply accept and continue. Next, hit Go to the Bank drop-down menu and select 24 tracks from the list. Note, you do not need to configure an input or output for vControl Pro. Once completed, close the Device Setup window and your Raven is now configured with Cubase and/or Nuendo. If you've calibrated for the Raven Dual setup, locate your Cubase or Nuendo windows how you'd prefer on your displays. The Raven software has the option to choose between two mixers. The first is called the External Mixer, labeled Extern Mixer. This is our own skinned mixer that floats on top of Cubase or Nuendo. The other mixer is called the Internal Mixer, labeled Intern Mixer. This integrates directly into the Cubase mix window seamlessly. To automatically set up and align the Cubase or Nuendo mixer with the Raven internal mixer, hit Settings on the Raven toolbar and hit Raven Setup. Your Raven will automatically configure Cubase or Nuendo with your Raven. Now, hit Option 2 on the keyboard to automatically set your mix window to align correctly with Cubase or Nuendo from our pre-installed workspaces. Next, we'll need to remove two tracks from our channel selector. First, remove Stereo In from the top of your session, and then remove Stereo Out from the end of your session, like this. Last, we'll need to make sure we have a maximum of 24 tracks showing. Use the key commands G and H on the keyboard to set your mixer to display 24 tracks, like this. To set up and align the Cubase mixer with the Raven internal mixer manually, first, toggle to the Mix Console view by hitting Option 2 on the keyboard. Next, click the Setup Window Layout button on the top left of the Cubase window here. Now, for the options, we'll select Equalizer Curves, Channel Racks, and Channel Selector to align with the internal mixer. All other options here should not be selected. Note, Confirm Control Room Mixer is not selected. To manually align your mix window, hit the green Maximize button on the mix window. Then, drag the bottom of the mixer, leaving about half of the bottom screen empty, like so. Now, launch Raven software. Now, on the Channel Selector tab, we'll first grab the bottom of the mix window here and align with the Cubase yellow or white outline with the Raven red guideline. Then we'll align the top of the track faders window with the provided red guideline at the top. We'll adjust the fader size by clicking and dragging the area where the channel selector meets the first fader, here. Note, you can hit the Hide Raven if necessary. Now, we'll need to remove two tracks from our channel selector. First, remove Stereo In from the top of your session, and then remove Stereo Out from the end of your session, like this. Lastly, we'll need to make sure we have a maximum of 24 tracks showing. Use the key commands G and H on the keyboard to set your mixer to display 24 tracks, like this. Confirm alignment by ensuring the tracks are seamless between Cubase or Nuendo and Raven. This alignment is detailed to the pixel, so a minor misalignment will result in an alignment failure. Be sure to align accurately before proceeding. This is an example of proper alignment. This is an example of misalignment. The Raven faders are precise, smooth, and reactive with 5 millisecond response time and with support of up to 12 simultaneous multi-touch points on the MTX, up to 6 on the MTi, and up to 10 on the MTi2. When mixing, I don't even have to keep my finger on the fader. It's easy to grab multiple faders from all over the console and control them however you feel comfortable, and you can do this without looking at the screen. On the external mixer, the pans are rotary. On the internal mixer, the pans are linear. The Fine Faders button allows for as little as half dB automation and moves easily because I can quadruple the resolution. To adjust the response of the Fine Faders, push and hold the Fine Faders button on the Raven toolbar and move the slider left to right, 1 being slowest and 20 being fastest. I can bank tracks by swiping on the lower third of the fader plate, using 1 finger to bank 1 track or 2 fingers to bank sets of 24. Note, if there are less than 24 tracks in the direction you're swiping, the Raven will not bank. In addition to gesture banking, we've included banking buttons located on the Raven toolbar that can be toggled between 24 tracks and 1 track at a time. Push and hold either of the banking buttons like so to switch between the two variations. The icon palette is designed to encourage visibility and organization. Press and hold the black square beneath the track name on the Raven mixer until the floating icon palette appears. We've included a few tabs of new default icons as well to allow users to upload their own icons for use in their Raven sessions. Details on saving Raven sessions is explained in a later section of this video. To place an icon, touch to select the image and it will highlight yellow. Then either tap the icon space where you'd like to place the image, or swipe across multiple tracks to add the image to more than one as displayed here. To upload an icon to the palette, press the Browse button on the bottom right of the icon palette. Locate the image you wish to upload from the file browser and load it. The image is now located in your User tab on the icon palette. To place it, follow the same procedure as explained previously. Opening and closing plugins in a session is very simple. First, to close a plugin, we've included the Hide Floating Window button on the Raven toolbar that will toggle on and off all last used floating windows. Always use this when closing a plugin, as the close buttons on plugins themselves are too small for touch. We have also included a Close Front Window batch command that will automatically send a mouse click to close the frontmost window. We'll talk more about the batch command system later in this training. With the Raven internal mixer, open a plugin by touching an existing plugin on an insert rack. Now just reach out and tweak the actual plugin controls. Easily tweak, close, and recall the same as demonstrated previously. Just like your mouse, loading plugins from the menu can also be done with touch the same way. Some menus are small and can be opened with touch or the mouse to your preference. Use the arrows on the left to open the plugin menus you wish to enter until you've reached your desired plugin. Be sure that the desired plugin is highlighted and double-tap the selection to load the plugin. When tweaking plugins, note that most function by linear adjustment. However, Slate and other developers will offer plugins with multi-touch rotary capability in the near future, such as the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. The Raven external mixer has multi-touch access to the 1 through 8 sends. Touch the Sends button to flip the Raven mixer to the Raven sends. Here I can tweak my multi-touch sends 1 through 8. I can select multiple tracks. I just hit the Shift black modifier button labeled Shift on the Raven toolbar, and then I can select my desired tracks. I can solo or mute a bunch of tracks by swiping my solo or mute buttons. I can even skip a few tracks by moving my finger below the buttons and then continuing to swipe, easily skipping my undesired tracks. On the internal and external mixer, I can change my automation by swiping. I can change one track or multiple tracks to read and/or write. The Raven installer has included custom Raven workspaces for Cubase and Nuendo designed to work in conjunction with your batch commands. Layouts 1 through 3 have been assigned to Project Window batch commands, and layouts 4 through 6 have been assigned to the Mix window. Use Workspace 1 on the Raven toolbar to move to the Cubase project window. Here you can adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible, and adjust the size of the edit window accordingly. You can also easily align the current window with the racks by using these batch commands: Align Window 1 rack and Align Window 2 racks. All of the tools on the top of the Cubase and Nuendo windows are easily accessible on the Raven toolbar. When there are multiple variations of a tool for one button, simply tap multiple times to scroll between types of tools. On the Raven toolbar, we've included the Flip toolbar buttons on the bottom right of the Raven toolbars, which allows users to move between the 3 main toolbars of each layout. To use, I'll hit the Flip toolbar button, which opens a floating menu with my up and down arrows. Now I can use the arrows to move through my toolbars. To close the Flip toolbar mode, you will need to use the Flip toolbar button again to deactivate the floating window. I can use my finger to easily grab regions, fade, move, and I can even use my finger as the pencil tool to draw an automation. I just change the automation to volume and draw. On the Raven toolbar, there's a nav pad designed for the toolbar, as well as a floating nav pad. Both function the same, allowing easy navigation through sessions. On the nav pad, the track zoom toggle is selected. I can quickly zoom in and out of my track with one finger swipe on the nav pad. Simply move up or down, left or right to control the size of the track. To adjust the size of all the tracks in the session, I simply toggle to Track Zoom All by, again, touching the Track Zoom toggle button. Now, with the same up or down, left or right motion, I can control the size of all of my tracks at once. Using my 2 fingers on the nav pad, I can scroll through the session up or down, left or right. You can also scroll through the session with 2 fingers anywhere on the edit window, like so. You can also select Scrub or Shuttle. With the desired button selected, just swipe left or right with 1 finger on the nav pad. When using the nav pad, you are not confined to the rectangular area around it. Activate the nav pad by touching inside the rectangle and then freely move outside of the designated area without lifting your finger from the screen. The nav pad is also capable of adjusting the response specific to the user's preference. Go to Settings on the Raven toolbar and press the nav pad response button. Adjust from 1 through 20, 1 being the slowest response and 20 being the quickest response. We have set the nav pad to default on Natural Movement settings. However, we have now included the option to invert the direction response by toggling to Inverse on the navpad response window in Raven settings. The Raven software is completely customizable. Simply hit the Customize Toolbar button on the right of the Raven toolbar, and you'll be able to freely relocate your controls to a custom design, and even save each customization as different layouts by hitting the Save Layout button and selecting a layout number you wish to save to. The layout is now saved to that number and can be quickly recalled at your discretion. You can have up to 8 unique layouts per Raven session and unlimited Raven sessions, allowing you unlimited layout capability. When saving your Cubase or Nuendo session, we've included a touch button on the Raven toolbar that will save your Cubase or Nuendo session information. We've also included a Save Raven Session button. This button saves a .rav lay file anywhere you choose on your computer. A Raven session contains information about what your layouts look like, which windows are displayed, where your floating tools are located, batch command location and contents, and even session icons saved. When making any changes to a layout, it's important to save those changes separate from the full Raven session. After changes have been made to a toolbar on a layout, hit Save Layout, and then overwrite the current one by touching the highlighted layout. You'll see the Save Layout light turn off as a confirmation of its saving. Once your layout is saved, you can save your Raven session. These multicolored and/or gray buttons are batch commands. The batch command system is a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. The Raven software comes equipped with over 80 preset batch commands. However, it is also very easy for you to create your own and even share them with other Raven users. In Raven settings, hit the Switch Default Layout button to select between various types of preset default layouts we've created for you that specialize in specific workflows. Blank is as it sounds, an empty layout for you to customize and save from scratch. Basic is the layout that will load when the software is first opened and restored to factory default. Here we've created 4 layouts that provide a basic approach to the batch commands to get you up and running quickly. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear blank. However, if you are overwriting a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the batch command menu and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command on the command line, you can add delay to the key command prior to launch or even add a number of repetitions you would like the command to perform before moving to the next line in the command sequence. Let's make a batch command that will create 5 new mono audio tracks. Hit the key command button and enter Control-Command-Option-A. Repeat this command 5 times by entering a 5 in the space for number of repetitions to the right of the command. Now I'll name the batch command 5 new mono audio tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It's now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the batch command menu and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new audio tracks for you automatically. In the batch command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you've saved. Touch the Quicklist button to open access to preset menu item and mouse click items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will add a plugin chain of any plugins I want. Press and hold a batch command, and if it has programming in it, hit Clear All. Now let's hit Quicklist and search for Vintage Compressor. Now, highlight Add Vintage Compressor Insert 1 project window, and hit the Select button on the bottom of the Quicklist window. Now search Roomworks, highlight, Add Roomworks Next Insert, and hit the Select button on the bottom of the Quicklist window. Now let's name it Custom Plugin Chain, give it a color, and hit Confirm. Now let's put it into action. Select the track you wish to add to the plugin chain and hit the newly created custom batch command and watch it do the work for you. We've created tons of great preset batch commands across your layouts, and I've also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and Quicklist items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Push and hold a batch command to open the batch command system programming menu. Now we'll hit the Record button and watch the batch command system record your mouse clicks and key commands in the sequence you perform them. Once completed, hit the Record button again and name your new batch command. This will save to your User Recordings tab for later use as well. Now I'll just add my new recording into the batch command line, give the button a name and color, and hit Confirm. Now, watch my new custom recorded batch command perform a key command and mouse click. Not only can you save custom batch command scripts, but you can also save entire batch command panels to easily relocate them across your layouts. Push and hold the batch command panel's label until a dialog window appears. Here you can name and color code your batch command panel, and save them to your Quicklist by hitting Save. Hitting Save will locate your saved batch command panel to the Quicklist here. You can see the name and size of the saved batch command panels here. To add a saved batch command panel to an empty batch command panel, press and hold the label area of the batch command panel until the dialog window appears and hit Quicklist. Search and select the batch command panel you wish to load and confirm the size of the panel matches the Quicklist item selected by reviewing the size column. Once confirmed, hit Select. Now, just name your batch command panel and give it a color. Then hit Confirm. Importing a batch command is simple. In the Batch Command System menu, hit Quicklist and select the User tab from the top. Now, hit the Load button and locate the .ravbc file on your computer. Select the file, and Raven will import the file into the User tab. Exporting is similar. From your User tab, select one of your saved batch commands and hit Export. This will save the file to your desired location and can now be shared with other Raven users. To go through our batch command basic training for Cubase and Nuendo, click here. For a comprehensive coverage of the basic preset layout, please review the user manual and videos located in Raven Settings here. In addition to the Raven toolbars, we've also included two fully customizable floating tool palettes. The first of the two is called the Floating Toolbar, and the other is called the Essentials palette. Both are designed for adding a select group of tools for managing screen real estate. I can add tools by, again, customizing my toolbar. When the tools are arranged on one or both of my floating tool palettes to my preference, I hit Customize Toolbar again, and my layout has been saved. I can then toggle them on and off by hitting the Floating Toolbar Essentials buttons on the Raven toolbar. The Floating Mixer is your direct access to multi-touch faders and pans in the project window. The Floating Mixer offers the same capabilities as the Raven External Mixer, including the ability to swipe automation, solos, and mutes, and even adjust the size of the window itself by hitting the addition and subtraction buttons on the top left of the Floating Mixer. I can even gain access to my multi-touch rotary pan knobs by hitting the pan button on the top left of the Floating Mixer to toggle between automation and pans. The Raven software allows users to easily use multiple DAWs separately with their Raven. Currently, Raven is available for Pro Tools, Logic Pro X, Studio One 3, Ableton Live, Cubase, Nuendo, and Digital Performer for OS X. To purchase an additional DAW support, visit slatemt.com and click Raven Software from the Downloads dropdown. There is a Buy Now button at the bottom of the page that allows you to purchase an additional DAW passcode that you can then register and receive an iLock authorization code. Then, once purchased, you can switch between DAWs by going to Raven Settings and hit the Switch Raven button. Navigate to your desired DAW in the Raven drop-down menu and select it. Close the old DAW and open the new DAW. Then hit OK on the Raven DAW launch menu. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on operating systems earlier than 10.7 OS X Lion. Mac Pro. On the MTX and MTi, we recommend computers produced after 2010 with a minimum of 2.3 GHz of processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the Intel HD 4000, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. MacBook Pro and Mac Mini. On the MTX and MTi, we recommend a computer produced after 2010 with an i7 processor operating at a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the NVIDIA GeForce GT 330M, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention, and welcome to the future of Studio Control.